Hey everyone, Graham here from the recordingrevolution.com, and today I kind of want to answer a question that I get all the time in email about how do I start making money from recording and mixing if I want to do this as a side business or I want to go full time one day. And then the related question is, how do I set my rates? How do I know how much to charge, and how do you start that process? So a lot of you are just doing this for fun. So this is just for your own music, to get quality recordings and mixes of your own music. You're the artist. I get that. I still do that. I want to release great music of my own and make it sound good. And then a lot of you are starting to wonder, hey, I don't like my job, or I'd like to make a career move, or when I get out of school, I like to do audio for a living. And I don't know how to transition the skills that I'm building into getting paid to do it. So I get this question all the time in email, and I would say check out the Simply Recording Podcast. It's simplyrecordingpodcast.com. Me and my buddy Joe Gilder addressed this a little bit on a podcast last fall. Search through it. It's called 3 Steps to Getting Your First Paid Gig. But I keep getting questions about it, and I was starting to write an article on the blog about it, and I kind of walk you through how I started to charge and my thoughts on all that stuff, and I just decided to just talk to you, to the camera. So there are kind of 3 stages of this process of someone who wants to start recording or mixing for a living, and so you might fall into one of those stages. So I just want to hit them really briefly today, sort of show you the arc of how I got into recording and mixing for a living, and how a lot of my friends have done that, and you'll probably find yourself along that arc somewhere. And then hopefully that will give you some ideas about where you are and where you want to be and what it's going to take to get there. The specifics, it really depends, because I don't know you, I don't know your skill level, I don't know your market. But this really, I think, will help. So number 1, if you're just starting out, like you literally are trying to gain experience and to get good enough that you could charge, and we'll address the good enough thing in a minute, then you need to do a lot of work for free. Okay, this is just like any other industry. You need to just put yourself out there, beg people, ask people to record them, to mix them. You need to do your own music, of course. Record and mix a lot, right? Finish your own projects. Don't drag out your album or EP forever. Finish it and move on so that you can move on to another project. Then all your friends who are musicians, or if you go to clubs or bars or venues around town and you're starting to get to know bands and artists, get to know them, ask if they want some free recording or free mixing. Tell them that you are a budding producer, a budding mix engineer, a budding recording engineer, and you like to build up your portfolio, and you like their music. So pick people whose music you like as well, because that's the whole point, is why work on music you don't like? You're going to do a better job if you're working on music you do like. So especially if it's free, go up to people that you think are better than you, that wouldn't hire you, that are out of your league, and say, hey, I'm trying to build my portfolio. I would love to work with you guys for a song or an EP or 3 songs or whatever. Just feel them out. A lot of people are going to love some free studio time if you're offering. If they don't know if you're any good, if you do it for free and it's just a couple of songs, they've got nothing to lose. So you might as well ask them and get some experience. So when I was in high school, I was dabbling with this for fun on the side. Got to college and was going to school for audio, but the first couple of years I'm taking all my other general electives of non-audio related stuff, and I just found every person in the music department that was a singer, that had recitals, that was a songwriter, that had a band, and I was recording everyone. I mean, I had a little inbox, a 2-channel USB interface, and I just showed up and said, hey, I'll record, and then I was mixing, and I did as much as I could for free just to gain experience. You make a lot of bad recordings, you make a lot of bad mixes, but they're getting what they paid for, which is nothing. So you've got nothing to lose. You don't have to worry about your credibility. You need to just do a large body of work to kind of get all the junk out, and then to learn from your mistakes and stuff about how to actually make great recordings. So you might be at that stage. Just do a lot more work for free, not your own work. Start to branch out and start destroying your fear. If you ever want to do this for a living, you got to destroy that fear that you have of what people will think of you. And the best way to do that is to start asking people to let you record and mix them for free. Okay? You have to do some of that, because then what that's going to give you is a portfolio of, here are 5 to 10 songs that I've recorded or mixed from various artists, showing the genre or genres I like to work in. And then you can build a simple website or a SoundCloud page or something with your samples so that when you want to start charging, you have credibility. You can say, well, this is what you'll get, basically. This is what I can do. And people can listen and decide if they like you or not. That's how you start a portfolio. Work for free, okay? Now, some of you are already working for free, and you are doing everything for free. And it's time to stop doing stuff for free. It's time to start charging something, because this is the other trap, and this is the only problem with doing work for free for other people, is that you're afraid to then start charging. You're afraid of what people are going to think of you. You're afraid that you're not worth it. You're afraid that you're not good enough, and you don't even know what to start charging. So you just keep doing your band's work for free, your friends' work for free, and they said, hey, we got another album, will you do it for free again? The big answer for you is no. You got to say no more free, because if you already have a portfolio on your website, you can say, check out these songs, and they sound good, and you've been able to get work, and your free clients like what you're doing, it's time to start charging. You're not going to be, your favorite mixer or producer in terms of quality yet, but that doesn't mean you don't charge, okay? So that's the misnomer, is we wait and wait and wait until we're good enough, or the level that we've set personally, like I have to be as good as Dave Pensato, who was on the show recently. I got to be as good as him before I can start charging. Well, that'll take you a lifetime, You maybe will never be as good as Dave Pensato. You might be better than him, and he would hope that you would be, because he's that kind of guy. But why wait 30 or 40 years to hopefully be as good as he is just to find out that you're not that good, and all the while you could have been charging? Okay, you don't have to be the best to make a living at this. Little newsflash for you, in case you didn't know, I am not the best recording and mixing engineer on the planet, okay? There are guys that are way better than me, and I'm fully aware of that. But that has never stopped me from trying to make a living doing this, because I feel like I have something to offer, and I'm way better now than what I was when I first started doing paid work. Okay, so I started in college, right? I was doing free work, but then I realized I need to start charging. I've done, 10, 20, 30, 40 songs, maybe more. And in my mind, I was ready to start charging. Now, how much did I charge? Not much. Okay, so it doesn't really matter how much you charge for this next stage. Some of you guys need to do it for free. If you've done the free thing, the next stage is the people that need to start charging, and that alone is challenging for people. So what I say is, whatever you think a going rate is hourly for a local studio, you're not going to be that local studio because you don't have the space, probably. That's part of their hourly rate, is the physical space they're in, maybe the gear they have, and then the years of experience they have. That's all probably wrapped into their rate. And you don't have that. You probably are just in your home. You probably have a lot less gear, and they probably have a lot less experience. But that's okay. So figure out what they're charging an hourly, and then charge less than that, so you're a little bit more affordable, which makes sense. But then here's the key. In my mind, don't charge by the hour. Okay? Don't charge people by the hour. Know what your hourly rate is, but charge by the project. Because this takes all the risk off of your artist or your client and puts it on you, which makes people more apt to work with you. And then it also puts the onus on you to actually work fast and work with quality. And that's kind of a hack to get you to be better. So what I would do is I would say, like, if you decided my hourly rate is $15 an hour or $20 an hour US or whatever it would be, you say, that's what I feel like I'm worth, and you're guessing. I mean, you really are guessing. But you know that you're doing something that is of worth, and you are going to spend time on it, and you have some equipment, so there is some cost of business. If it takes you 5 hours to mix a song and your hourly rate is $20 an hour in your mind, then do the math. That's $100 to mix a song. And so what you present to somebody is, I charge $100 to mix a song, and what that looks like is you get, full multi-track mix, and you're going to get the wave and the MP3, and we have some revisions. Whatever it is, you come up with that per song price so that the artist can just say, oh, okay, I can afford to do 3 songs. And then they know that no matter how long you take, it's going to be the same price. That's the next stage you want to get into. The price doesn't matter at this point. What matters is that you break the boundary of being afraid to charge and start charging something. Because here's the problem is, if you never charge, then you're never going to be good enough. People attribute value to the cost. It's just the way we operate, right? So if something's very expensive, we assume it's better. That's what we do this with gear. You line up a $100 condenser microphone, and then right next to it you put a $1,000 condenser microphone, and you tell somebody which microphone do you think sounds better, and they see the price tag, they're going to always, and you do this in your head or your heart, is you're going to pick the $1,000 microphone because you just know at your core it has to be better because it costs more. Otherwise, why would they charge more? And I hate to say it, that's not really the case. Maybe sometimes they sound better, and some of my favorite microphones are very expensive, but do I use them? No, because I really don't want to have a $5,000 microphone laying around. I don't really feel comfortable with that. Even though I'm at a point in my career where I could use $5,000 microphones, I would rather use a $200 microphone that to me sounds just as good in the mix. And if I dropped it, I wouldn't really feel that bad. So there's a whole brand snobbery thing, and related to that is the value we attribute to the cost of things. Expensive meals we assume taste better. Expensive cars we assume are better. Expensive whatever we assume are better. And in some cases, there are better things about them, more quality, that kind of thing. Generally, with someone that's recording or mixing, if they've done this for a long, long time and they have a really nice studio, they should be able to charge more, and they probably are better because they have experience that you don't have, and maybe they have some equipment that helps them do some things that you can't do, or they can work faster. I'm not saying that guys that charge a lot aren't worth it. Believe me, I want to be able to charge more and more over the years myself. But what I'm saying is that the psychology is there. If you don't charge anything, people think you're not good. If you charge pennies, people think you must be horrible. Why else would you be charging a little? It's just the way it is. And in stage 2, if you're stage 1, you got to do it for free. Stage 2 is to at least charge something, because then that says to the world and to you that I am worth something. I'm not doing this for free anymore. This cost me my time, and I know what I'm doing. Now, I don't have the experience maybe to back up a higher rate, but I'm starting to build something. And that is a psychological boost that you need. So if you're not charging right now and you've been doing this for a while and you feel like just you're sick and tired of doing all this work for people for free, just make a line in the sand and say, no longer. You tell your free clients, hey guys, I've been doing great work with you for a while and I hope you can understand, but I'm starting to do this as a business, even on the side, and I need to start charging something. Here's my introductory rate. It's very low, but I would love to keep working with you if you think you enjoy my work. You know what it sounds like. You can see my samples. Let's do this. And some people are going to say, no thanks, because they're freeloaders. And some people are going to say, okay, of course, I expect to pay something to get my music recorded or mixed. So you're a better deal than the studio, and I know you, and I just can hear your work, so I'll go with you. And that's how you start. Then just do a lot of work at that rate. Okay. The third stage of people, and this might happen very quickly for you if you catch wind of how good it feels to get paid to do work that you love, is you need to start charging more. Okay, so a lot of people start charging and they're doing work and they're actually getting paid to do it, and that is such a great feeling and a lift because you realize I have gotten paid to record and mix, therefore I can do it again, and that you catch that bug. But then the problem is the fear creeps back in. The same fear that would keep you doing stuff for free, it just creeps back in because again, we're just so afraid of what people think. The fear is I can never raise my rates. If I raise my rates, people won't hire me. And if people won't hire me, then I'm back to making no money. So I guess it's better to make a little bit of money than no money. And that would be a mistake. That's the worst mistake in business because that keeps you trapped in never charging enough and always being in a fearful posture. And you should never make decisions based off of fear or fear of loss. You should make decisions based off of potential gain, and you've weighed the risks. And there's always risk involved doing something. The risk of not charging is that you will never get paid enough. You'll never make a living doing this. You have to go do something you don't want to do. That's a pretty big risk in my mind. I'd rather take the risk that some people won't hire me and then be able to do the work I want to do and start that upward trend where I could really start charging enough to make a living. Okay, so for me, it was the same thing. It was I was charging nothing, a few bucks to record and mix, and I realized, hey, I've done a few paid gigs, and now I have even better samples and a portfolio that's growing. So it's been a year, let's say, new year, new rates, and I just up them. A lot of times I base it off of, I've got more experience now. I've got another year of doing some projects. I have probably taken a little bit of money I made last year and reinvested it in my business, in more microphones. So now maybe I can record multi-track drums. More preamps or a new interface that lets me record a full band at once. A few more plugins that really help me do some mastering maybe, or a couple of like I didn't have an auto-tune or a Melodyne, and now I can do some vocal tuning. So you've taken some of that money and reinvested it so that now you can offer more to your clients. Well, then you're worth more, because the cost of business is got to be factored into your rate. So whatever you're charging now is probably not enough, and you need to up it, especially if you're actually doing work. You're never going to feel like you deserve it. You're never going to feel like you're good enough, because you always see your flaws and you always see those guys that are doing much better work than you. But the truth is that you still have to move up if you want to do this. So you have to fight the fear, raise your rates, because only two things are going to happen potentially. If you raise your rate, you're either going to have a lot of people that were working with you say, no, thank you, dude, I'm not going to pay that much for you. Well, then you know what? You don't want to work with those people anyway, because they don't value your skill. Even if they've already worked with you, they already know how good you are. They should be very happy to pay you a little bit more, because they should realize they got you early on when you were really affordable, and they should have been grateful for that. And now, they're going to pay what it costs for you who's more experienced. So if they're saying, I'm not going to pay you because your rates went up, you don't want to work with them anyway. Someone else wants to work with you. So either you're going to lose some bad business, and that's better for you in the long run, and or you're going to get more clients and better clients because of the previous thing, which is people assume you're really good if you charge a lot. So your rates go up, all of a sudden you're in a different price range for people. They're seeing you as, oh, this guy's probably pretty good because his rate's not the bare minimum guy that down the street in his bedroom. Even though you may be in your bedroom also, your rate tells people a lot. And they assume a lot, and they can listen to your samples. So if they see your rate and it seems, well, that's not the cheapest guy, but he must know what he's doing because of the rate, and I listened to his portfolio and I like it, it sounds good, people are going to hire you. And these people are going to be people that are a little more serious about their music. So they are investing. They see it as an investment. They're not going to pay you a little bit and then complain because they don't like it or that it's too expensive. They're going to see this as an investment in their craft or their music. So they're saying, here's my baby, my song, I'm willing to pay you, and they feel like they're in it. They partnered with you because there's some money on the table, and for whatever reason, they're probably going to like your mix better because they paid good money for it. They got a good mix. They're going to like it better than if they paid nothing and got a good mix. They'll be like, it was free. So it's weird. It's psychological. So a lot of you just need to start charging more. The absolute worst that could happen is that nobody hires you because for whatever reason, no one likes your rate that you know of, and then you just wait a little bit until the word gets out, or lower your rate again, and then you can get the work you want. I mean, there's really nothing to lose. So you need to progress from doing it for free to doing it for something the first time you charge, which it doesn't matter the price, that's a huge step for a lot of you, to then charging more as you gain more experience every year. Maybe make it a goal to up your rate every year as you do new projects and reinvest in your business. Now, if you're not actually doing work, and you're sitting around and just fiddling and hanging out on my site or web forums, just buying gear, so you've been around for a while, and it's been a couple years, you don't raise your rate just because it's been around for a while. You raise your rate if you've done work in the past year at that rate, and you have new stuff on your portfolio site. So there's a progression. I recommend you charge by the project or by the song, flat rate. That forces you to work faster so you get more per hour in your own mind. I don't recommend charging by the hour because, again, it puts the risk on the artist. They don't know if you're going to take a long time. They don't know how much it's going to cost them in the end. So take the risk on yourself. Put the onus on yourself. Use some of the posts and tips I've been sharing lately, like the Tim Ferriss approach to mixing, on how to speed up how you mix, the 3-hour mix, all those different posts on the Recording Revolution to help you not waste time while you're mixing so you actually get more value for your money. But then just start charging more. Start charging more. Take yourself seriously. Treat yourself like a business. Whatever you think you're worth. Whatever you think you're worth is what you're worth. If you don't think you're worth much, you shouldn't charge much, and you probably aren't that good. It's really more of an emotional, mental thing. But if you feel like, I think I'm good, and I know I'm not great, but I feel like I'm worth more than what I was making last year, up your rate, treat yourself like a professional, and watch better clients come in. And then it's just a steady process of analyzing and seeing it go up and just working with clients you want to work with, not working with clients you don't want to work with, figuring out what kind of music you really like, figuring out what your strengths and weaknesses are, reinvesting in your business, even if it's one plugin here or another microphone to your collection here, or an upgrade to your DAW because it lets you do things that you haven't had in a few years, or you need a faster computer in 3 or 4 years. Reinvest so that your business grows and you can handle bigger, better clients and do the kind of work you want to do. I know that was a long rant. I hope that even within those vague steps that maybe you found where you are on that arc. Are you the person that needs to just start doing more work for free and build a portfolio site because you don't have that yet? Are you the person that's been doing it for free and needs to start charging today? Doesn't matter what it is, but move into a position where you're actually charging money for your work and treating yourself and your time as valuable. And are you the person that has been charging, but you're charging way too little and you're so afraid of raising your rates because you're afraid of what people will think and you don't feel like you're worth it and you need to just throw that fear out the window because it's useless and it's made up and it's in your mind and you need to start charging more and seeing what happens. Find out which of those three you are and what step you need to jump to next, and then wrestle through maybe what the specifics of that look like. It's going to vary for every person, every market, every country. So hope that gives you some ideas. Again, shoot me any emails or comments on the blog. If you're on YouTube, I really don't have a ton of time to check YouTube comments, so please forgive me if I don't respond to your YouTube comments. But I do appreciate the feedback, and hopefully this has helped you kind of figure out where to go from here. Make a change. Don't be afraid. What's the worst that could happen is you just go back to doing what you're doing right now. That's really not that bad. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Take care. God bless. Talk to you soon.